to Drink, Read, Fabio, the YouTube.
The YouTube. Dun, dun.
We're here to discuss our July wrap-up.
All of our reads.
Yes, we together read 16 books this month. That's so many.
That is many, but that's all mostly cake. So,
I had a big month.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's get into the book.
So what we're gonna kind of do is start by their rating. So we're gonna start at 1 star and go to 5 star.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, we don't have any 1-star books this month. That would be atrocious. That'd be terrible.
That would be really sad.
Yeah. But we're gonna start with our 2-star rating books. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I don't have a 2-star, so you go.
You don't have one? That's
No.
me. I do. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This is controversial because everybody loves this book. I don't know why. I didn't like it. I couldn't get into it. The writing just went so fast and there was no character development or really understanding of what was going on. I was just so lost and it was a struggle to get through, but I did finish it.
She did finish it.
So there you go. So I can really give an honest opinion. People who love this book, please reach out to me and tell me why you love this book because I'm struggling to understand it.
Yeah.
But basically it's about this girl who lives in the 1940s, 50s-ish, who falls through a weird like stone hinge kind of thing and goes back in time to the 1800s where she gets kidnapped by a Scottish clan who takes her away and she falls in love, but she's engaged in her old life, so she has this weird crisis where she loves her old husband, but she loves her new husband, and things get weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend, but I know a lot of people do recommend it,
So tell us your thoughts.
Yes.
So for our podcast, we like to read crazy romance novels, and so for this month I read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I gave this a 3 stars. I feel like that's being a little nice.
I was gonna say, I think on the podcast you gave it 2. You said it was stumbling.
It was stumbling.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. It was just crazy. I don't know.
Maybe it's like a 2.5.
It's like a 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. Because some of the books that I've rated 2 were worse than this.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I feel like it's a little bit better than that. But basically, it's about a human girl getting abducted by aliens and then having this sexual romance with one of them. And that's what this is. And it's a series. And it has like a trillion books. And it's all about the different girls falling in love with different aliens. Yeah, it's crazy. So if that sounds interesting to you,
it's really crazy.
Check it out, I guess. Or go listen to our podcast if you don't want to read it and you want to know what happens.
There you go. My 3-star books first are going to be It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. I read a lot of 3-star books this month. I think a lot of it has to do with me just reading more and having more books to compare, or maybe just getting a little bit tired of like the stereotypical romance novel. But these 2 were honestly really enjoyable. I had a good time reading them, but I just have read many better books
that were like similar.
So I'm like,
yeah.
And at this point, like these rom-com books, it takes a lot to get me impressed or get me to want to really read the next book. And I did read both of these. It was enough for me to like them to read more.
Yeah.
I would say this one, the spicy part,
the smut
is way better than the story, and in this one the story is way better than the spice. So take that as you will. Yeah. I liked the characters in this one way more, and I liked the spiciness way more in this book.
There you go.
But yeah, it kind of follows a beach kind of romance for both the books. They're sisters, the leading ladies. It's a fun summer read, to be honest. It is fun. I have Caraval, which is controversial because this is a definite 5-star for Sophia. But this one is about a girl who has to go through kind of like a game situation to save her sister and get out of her marriage. For me, it just moved a little bit too quickly. I kind of got lost, and it was really hard for me to connect with her as a character because they don't give you much character-wise to build off of, and the romance seemed a little bit forced to me. But it was still really fun because obviously, like, game show, like, so cool and, like, magic. Love it. And then Good Girl Complex. This book makes me so mad. This book made me so mad. And I've said this so many times to Sophia. But it makes me mad because the first half was a 5-star. Like, I loved the first half. Mm-hmm. And, like, when they got together, because they get together pretty fast, like, through the half point, and I was like, oh, they're already together. Yeah. It was great. I wish she would have honestly ended it there. But she kept going, and it just was dragged out for so long, and the story kind of got muddy and just, like, lackluster. But I love her writing style, and I think it's really intriguing and really draws the audience in.
Nice.
Yeah, those were my 3 stars.
Amazing. Let's move on to 4 stars. So, I have 2. Mm-hmm. So my first one is Funny You Should Ask by Elissa Sussman. So basically what this book is about, it's a writer named, I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. She talks about how people mispronounce it in the book, but I think it's like Shani. It's like, you have to have like that thing in there, you know, the yeah. So she's a writer, and she is selected to interview her celebrity crush, who is going to be the next James Bond. Basically, they kind of create this kind of connection, but it doesn't end in the best way. And so they go a really long time not talking, and she gets like a second chance.
It was like a second chance romance.
Yeah, so it's a second chance romance, and because she became super popular because of this interview with him, she gets a second chance to interview him and also possibly rekindle this connection that they might have had. So
interesting.
It's really fun. I think if you've ever had a celebrity crush, which is most people, that it's fun to imagine yourself as this person and think like, oh, what would I do if I were in this situation?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I felt like underwhelmed because it was so overhyped. But it was a little bit underwhelming. Like, it was cute.
It's hard when a book like this is so hyped up by book talk and Bookstagram and things like that, because you read it and you have such high hopes.
Yeah, it was cute. That's it. It wasn't like anything special to me.
That's kind of how I feel about It Happened One Summer in Hook, Line, and Sinker. Like, it's cute, it's fun, but like, what I need more at this point. Yeah. I've read so many cute and fun books.
And the characters, I really liked them. There was really nothing wrong, but it just wasn't like the
top.
It wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
And then second, I have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a Greek mythology retelling about Circe, who is like this sorceress kind of woman. And I read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. That was one of my 5-star reads. I love that book. This one just didn't hit the mark as much. Like, obviously I still loved it because it was 4 stars. I think I definitely liked this one more than Funny You Should Ask. Circe is an amazing character. She's super cool, and like her journey is incredible and awesome. I know she's not like a real person, but it's interesting to think of them as if they were real people. And I think it's interesting how Madeline Miller writes about gods in this book and makes them more relatable, because we see gods as like people who are like untouchable and like completely unrelatable from normal humans. And it's interesting how she talks about gods and how she talks about a god thinking about a human and this things that make humans special in their own way.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I dog-eared a bunch of pages because there were so many quotes and
just like
parts of the book that were beautiful, like amazing. She's a great writer, but it did move a little slow for me. That's just my only thing. It was a little slow, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready for it to be done, which is why I wasn't a 5-star.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So my 4 stars, I'm going to start off with, the first one was a podcast book, Punk 57. This is crazy. Like, this book is insane. Like, it's crazy. It revolves around Misha and Ryan, who were pen pals as children and never stopped being pen pals. And basically, she kind of puts this front that she is an outcast, kind of like him, but he ends up coming to her school under a fake name and realize that actually she's like a popular cheerleader who's kind of a bully. And you kind of go along their story about, you know, why he's at the school and why she acts this way when obviously that's not her real personality and who she really is. And it's so spicy. Like, if you even like are a little bit squeamish about that kind of stuff, this is not the book for you. Like, you need to be hardcore into it, like buckle in, ready for the spice, because this is like 5 out of 5 spice level. For sure. It's crazy. But it's fun. It's so fun.
So if you're looking for spice, you're looking for smut.
Something crazy.
Something crazy, different.
It's great for when you're in like a reading lull or kind of like a slump because it's so crazy you can't not like turn the next page.
Yeah.
Next I have Legendary, which is the second Caraval book. I liked this one so much better than the first. I really enjoyed Scarlet. Yes, Scarlet as a character.
No, Scarlet's the
I always get
first
them mixed
sister.
up.
The other one's
What's her freaking name? Tella. I'm drunk anyway.
Good.
This revolves around the second sister, Tella, who is kind of the more crazy sister, the one that's like willing to take more risks. When I'm reading an action book, that's what I want. I want to pretend, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm like the more cautious, scared person. So I want to pretend like I'm the crazy girl who would be totally fearless, and she is, which is so fun. And I really like her romantic connection better than the first book.
There you go.
And then we have One Italian Summer. This is like a 4.5. Like, I know a lot of people don't like this one as much as In 5 Years, but I really, really liked it. I still think I liked In 5 Years better. And I initially rated this a 5-star, but then rethought it.
Yeah.
Because In 5 Years is better, in my opinion. But better in a different way. This one, like, you don't need, when you read this, you're not going to have a full-on cry. Like, In 5 Years, you're going to be crying. This one is more heartfelt and kind of more tame in that kind of sense, and a little bit more naive and youthful. But it basically revolves around a girl whose mother just passed away from cancer, and she kind of loses herself a little bit in like her relationships and her life, and she has to learn how to live now alone. And her mom planned a trip to Italy before her mom passed, and she decided to go on this trip alone without her mom, and somehow ends up time traveling back to when her mom was in Italy. And so her and her mom hang out, and she kind of has to pretend like she doesn't know her.
Aww, that's cute.
It's really, really sweet. It's really good. It's so sad. Like, I 100% still would recommend this book. It's like a 4.5, maybe 4.7. Like, it's really close. It's really sweet. The only thing is that she kind of whines a little bit. It's like she's going through like a really hard time.
Yeah.
But the way she treats people, sometimes you're like, that's not very good. Like,
yeah.
That's not kind.
I don't love a whiny character.
No, and that's why it kind of got knocked a little bit, but still it's so fun and so sweet, and like, I love a good time travel moment. So fun.
Amazing.
Yes.
Love it.
So now we're gonna move on to 5-star ratings.
5-star ratings. Okay, I'm gonna start off with The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes.
Yes.
This was like so close to being 5 stars. I don't know. I think it's hard when things are hyped up. You have such high expectations. So I think if I went into this not knowing anything and no one said anything about how amazing it was, I think maybe it would be 5. But there was just something, a little bit of something that I just couldn't put my finger on why it wasn't fully a 5. But I don't know.
Because there are those books that are hyped up and truly are 5 stars when you read them.
Yes. And I think maybe I was hoping for a little bit more action and more puzzles, and this one wasn't that. It was kind of an intro, and I'm hoping the second one's a little bit more of that, which I'm thinking it will be, so I'm excited.
Fingers crossed.
But basically, it's about a girl named Avery. She's in high school. She shows up at her principal's office one day, is called in, and she is told that she is needing to come to this mansion in Texas.
You have to come.
Because she has been written into this random man's will. So she goes, and they read out the will, and she has inherited basically his entire fortune, his whole mansion, everything, and has barely given anything to his family. So they're all kind of out to get her a little bit, but she doesn't know why. And so the way that the family thinks that they're going to figure out why he chose her was through these puzzles that the grandfather has left throughout the house.
Interesting.
So they have to solve all these riddles and puzzles to try to figure out why and how she's connected to him. It's really fun and interesting. And it moves really, really fast, which I like.
You love.
And my 5-star. One of my favorite books of the year so far. Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book.
And this one I hyped up so much.
Yes.
Like I told Sophia, I was like, this is my favorite book. Like you need to read this. Because she had other books on her TBR that she had already bought. And I was like, no, read this one next.
Yes. And I've had this on my TBR for a while too because I had heard it was amazing. But you know how things get.
Yes. But I had read it and I was like, Sophia, buy it now.
It's cute. It's like probably one of the best romance books ever. It just is laid out perfectly.
And I mean, it's hyped up because of that. Like, everybody loves it because it's the best.
It's so cute. If you love Friends to Lovers, you're going to love this book. I love Friends to Lovers.
And flashbacks.
And flashbacks. So, basically, it's about a girl named Macy and her friend Elliot. So, her dad and her get a new house in this lake town, and her next door neighbors are this family, and that includes one of their sons named Elliot, and he loves to read, and so they kind of bond over their reading, and they become really close, and they talk all the time, and they know everything about each other. They start to kind of have a romance when they're younger, and then they have a really huge falling out. And so throughout the book, it's back and forth from present day to the past, and you're learning about them growing up and kind of have
re-meeting again in the future.
And then you kind of are figuring out what happened to make them have this big falling out.
Yeah.
And it's been like a 10-year age gap, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
11,
a really, really long time. 11, yeah. And she's engaged.
Yes.
So that throws a wrench.
So it's like, can they
in the
be friends? Can they
Are they going to rekindle their love? What is going to happen?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so good and it's so cute. And who doesn't love people falling in love over books?
I know, especially
you know them at their ugly phases and their worst phases, and then you still love them after.
I'm
all
like,
this
Mom and
time.
Dad, why could you not give me a best friend that was a boy?
Yeah, who was hot.
Come on, you ruined my chance.
You ruined my chance. Anyway, but this is the ultimate. If you read any book from this,
please
read this
I
one.
also agree. Favorite romance
Before
of the
summer
year.
ends.
Favorite romance of the year.
So good.
My 5-star books.
My
5-star books were, the first one was The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, same writer. So cute. I still think Love in Other Words is her best, or their best story yet, but this one's so cute too. It's about a single mother named Jessica who basically fell in love really young and thought this was going to be the love of her life, but they end up getting pregnant, and he says he never wants kids, so if you're going to have this kid, I'm leaving. And so he leaves, and she ends up raising this kid on her own with her grandparents because her mom's kind of like a deadbeat mom, and she kind of doesn't believe in love anymore, but her best friend convinces her to take a DNA sample for a new dating app that is all based on your DNA. And she finds out that she is a perfect match with the creator of the app, who anytime that they've connected so far has been terrible. Dun, dun, dun. So good. It's just so so creative.
Yeah, that is
It's
a very interesting
creative
plot.
and so fun. And her writing, their writing, I guess, I keep forgetting it's people. Their writing is so clever and funny, and I love that humor. I love it when they have the humor aspect. It's really clever. And this is one of the only Grumpy Sunshine books that I really, really like. I don't love Grumpy Sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, come on, stop acting like a dick. You know?
Yeah, why? Like, there's a fine line between grumpy and just like rude.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Exactly. And this is one of the only ones that I really, really like. And then, last but not least, I had to read it because of the movie where the Crawdads sing.
So
and
good.
I watched the movie before I read this.
Yeah, we went and watched it in the theaters and we were all crying.
Yes.
It was so
literally,
good.
It was so good. And I'm actually happy that I saw it first.
Oh, good.
Because I was kind of in a little bit of a reading slump after coming back to the city after being away for a little bit. And it was so nice to be able to not have to visualize it myself.
Yeah.
And because I had all those visualizations already there in my mind, and the movie did such a great job of following along exactly like the book. There really was not very much different.
Yeah.
And so, no.
It was perfect.
It was really well done. Really well done. And so, it was really relaxing to read, and I loved the storyline, and it was so well written, and all the parts that they didn't use weren't necessary, but still a joy to read.
Yeah.
But anyway, that wraps up our July.
Yay!
So, if you take anything from this video, read Where the Crawdads Sing, read Soulmate Equation, read Love in Other Words, and The Inheritance Game. Those are our top recommendations for you guys.
Yeah, and let us know your top 5 reads of the month.
Please.
We would love to hear them and try some of them out so we can let you know our thoughts.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe and come back next time on Drink, Read, Fabio.
Bye!